Good morning all. So as you know that we are putting these previous year question solutions and their detailed discussions on YouTube in the initial phases. So kindly like us, subscribe us and do share with your friends. So in that particular series and program of PYQ, today we are actually taking the topic of migration and its causes and consequences. So in that particular series, we are on the question number 5th, that is discuss the application of gravity models in geographical studies. So the question says, it is saying discuss the application of gravity model in geographical studies. It's a 10 marker, so you will be given 2 pages and it was asked in the year 2016. So the question is a general question regarding gravity models. But why we are putting it in the migration aspect? Because gravity models has very widespread application with regards to migration. So I hope that is very clear. But we can also write other aspects, other applications of gravity models in geography. But now, before starting, let me give you a brief intro regarding these gravity models. So why these gravity models and other such models came into geography? So we all know that there was an interwar phase. Interwar phase means the period between World War I and World War II. And especially towards the later course of World War II, what the different worlds and different countries of the world were finding is that they were having limited resources now because of the war damages. As a result, these countries started doing what, especially the Western countries, they starting giving less fundings to universities and academic disciplines. And one such discipline was geography. So the question of geography came into what? Relevance. Ki whether it is relevant to spend such amount of money for keeping geography as a discipline in universities and academic circles or not. So to keep the relevance of geography intact and to make its relevance more into the war efforts, what geography and geographers do what is that they tried to import different kinds of models from different disciplines of the academics. And therefore, during such time, gravity model for the first time came into geography. I hope that is very clear. So, geography के अंदर gravity model was came into the socio-physics school के through gravity model क्या है कि came into geography. And therefore, this particular model has widespread applications in geography and in a way it make geography more applied in nature, especially during the war efforts. So now the question is discuss the application of gravity models in geographical studies. So again, the intro for this particular question can be what kind of intro and why kind of intro. So the what kind of intro we can write in the body also, the what of gravity model. So better to write with a why kind of introduction, and that can be, we can simply write that the theory pertaining to gravity models developed during quantitative revolution, because we all know that just after the Second World War, from the year 1950s, quantitative revolution was the paradigm which was seen in the development of geography. So it was roughly in the period of 1950s till 1970s. I hope it is very clear. So we can write that the theory pertaining to gravity models developed during QR, that is quantitative revolution, okay, which is taken from the socio-physics school. Socio-physics school. I hope it is very, very clear. Just after this particular introduction, we can give a brief intro regarding the gravity models. But it is a very contextual and a very applied kind of introduction which the examiner will definitely like, because now you are connecting this gravity model with the background of it being coming into geography as a discipline. I hope it is clear. Just after that, what we can say is that these gravity models are used to define the interaction, the relative interaction between different places. So we know that just after writing this particular line that it helps to determine the interaction between places, we can show what we can give the formula of it, that is K is the proportionality constant. Then we have m1, m2 upon d square. So this is the aspect of gravity model. So this m1 and m2, as was the case in the earliest gravity model, these were nothing but the aspect of population sizes, population size, and this d is the distance. I hope it is clear. So these gravity models are used to compare what? The gravitational or the attraction pull of different continents, of different countries, of different states, and also of different neighbors also. So what is the gravitational pull or the attraction of one particular place towards the other place is or can be determined with the help of these gravity models. So just we have two pages. This is page 1 and this is page 2. So we can write the first introduction in these 3 lines. Just after that we will be making a box and we will be writing this particular formula here, and just after that we will be writing the application of gravity models, and then we will be start giving applications in here until this part, and from here we will start our conclusion in which we can briefly write what are the negatives or limitations or issues associated with these gravity models. I hope it is clear. So this is a brief introduction and a context of gravity model. So you can write a contextual introduction and then you can give this formula. Of course, after that you can start with applications. So moving ahead, the first application of this particular gravity model is that it helps us to understand the migration pattern of the world. Now we have multiple examples regarding this particular application of gravity models. One such example can be that according to census 2011 of India, what we know is that more or less, this is Delhi and this is Mumbai. So more or less a person from Uttar Pradesh, okay, is having the equal kind of economic opportunities both in Delhi and Mumbai. More or less both are metropolitan cities and therefore the number of population size is also towards the equal comparison. But the major stream from UP goes towards where? Delhi, as compared to a less strong migration stream going towards Mumbai. And what is the reason is? The reason is the aspect of distance. Here the distance is more, here the distance is less, and as a result it has less travel time. I hope it is very, very clear. Here travel time will be less. So this is a revelation from the census 2011. At the same time, at the world level, you can also write the example of the particular migration from Mexico and Central America towards US. So what we are finding is that the majority of migration from these Central American countries and Mexico is happening towards where? Is happening towards the southern states of USA, and not towards the northern states, not towards the Canada, because of the aspect of distance. I hope it is clear. So for migration, it helps us to give a very clear aspect that migration is inversely proportional to distance, which is what gravity models talks about. At the same time, we can also see that there is large scale what? Migration from global south towards global north. What is the reason? Because the global north has more number of opportunities. As a result, this global north has much higher mass of economic opportunities, and therefore the major stream of migration is from global south to global north. This you can also show. So there are multiple examples to give particular application of migration with regards to understanding the migration pattern of the world. I hope it is clear. So this is the first application. You can give multiple examples and these will be appreciated by the examiner. You can also show this particular thing on the map of India. Then it helps us to calculate the breaking point between two competing centers. So a very classical example of this particular application is, here we have before 1990 1. So what was the case before 1991? Let's consider it is an isotrophic surface. So this is an isotrophic surface, which was one of the assumption of what? Gravity models. So this is isotrophic surface. I hope it is clear. And here lies our Delhi. Here lies our Delhi. And here lies the city of Kolkata. So before 1991, the break even or the breaking point was somewhere in the middle. The breaking point was somewhere in the middle. So this was the breaking point. What does that means is that the people from Western UP, the people from Central UP were actually gravitating more towards Delhi because Delhi was in their close vicinity. So Delhi was having a distance d, and therefore people from the western side of UP and the central side of UP were actually going towards Delhi. So it was a break even point, and people from eastern UP and Bihar were actually going where? They were actually going or gravitating or attracting towards the aspect of Kolkata. So this was the breaking point which was being able to be decoded with the help of gravity models. I hope it is clear. But post 1991 scenario, what we are finding is that even the people from eastern UP and Bihar are now gravitating towards Delhi. What is the reason? That now this economic base of Delhi has now become enlarged. And as a result of which, it has become a prominent economic hub in the post 1991 scenario. And therefore, the largest chunk of migration is happening now towards this side as compared to this, because Kolkata has more or less remains at the same level of economic activities and opportunities. Of course, the reasons we know that it has more socialistic orientation of the society, primarily due to the government in power, and here it is becoming a big economic base in the northern belt. I hope it is clear. So it is helpful in to identify the breaking point between two competing commercial centers. At the same time, it is also helpful, okay, to identify the migration flows with regards to what? Shopping centers. How? Because we know the relative attraction or pull of a shopping center and the distance between it and the customer will be the defining factor. So, how much attraction or pull of a particular shopping center, mall, etc. will be there, it will determine the breaking point of this particular individual to visit to this shopping center or to the other shopping centers in the vicinity. I hope it is clear. So it helps us to identify the breaking point between two competing commercial centers, shopping malls, local shops, etc. I hope it is clear. Then moving ahead, we have its application in urbanization management. So urbanization management कैसे help कर रहा है? So we know that gravity model can also be applied to identify what? To identify the traffic density, to identify the number of telephone calls, Why? Because all of these will be depending upon what? Will be depending upon the aspect of population size of a particular place and the distance between those. So it will help us to do this. But now in recent times, with the help of GIS, that is Geographic Information System, what we are finding is that we have now more data, more real-time data available. You might be using what? Google Maps. You might be seeing the travel and the peak hours of traffic on the Google. So you have all these things with the help of GIS, Geographic Information System. And because of this, what we are able to do is, we are able to do and predict better what the alternative traffic routes. I hope it is clear. It is also helpful. This particular gravity models will also be helpful for the policymakers to make what? To make trip distribution, to make trip distribution. So these policymakers can actually develop state-of-the-art facilities of transportation by doing what? Trip distribution. So number of low floors and in what zones these low floor buses which we are seeing outside should be devoted to. कितना number किसी particular area में low floors का होना चाहिए. It will all depend upon the population size of that particular region, the population routes that particular population is taking. So it will be helpful in this particular trip distribution also. So what we can do is we can allocate what? Trips to particular population zones as per their demand. I hope it is clear. So this is another advantage. So urbanization management के अंदर gravity models have very good role, and therefore whenever a person is going outside from his house to his work or to somewhere else, what he will be in a mode? He will be having what? He will be having more calculative choices based on the probabilities he can consider. I hope it is clear. Then again, gravity models, since gravity models are based on what? The aspect of distance decay principle. Why? Because we know that these interaction between places is a function of 1 upon d ka square, that is inverse relationship is there, and therefore gravity models are based on the principle of distance decay, and as a result of which in agriculture we can help, and these gravity models can help us to identify the agriculture intensity. So we know the famous von Thunen framework. So what we can do is we can write here the agriculture intensity. This is our market, and this is the farms, and this is the relative distance. So we know that if a particular place is closer towards what? Market, the agriculture intensity will be more, and as and when the distance increases, the agriculture intensity will be less. Why? Because of the aspect of distance decay. Why? Because agriculture near the market areas will be finding market and demand, and therefore it is more remunerative as compared to a distance apart, and distance is also a factor cost involved in this agriculture productivity. I hope it is clear. So we will see what? We will see a decline for this particular agriculture intensity. If a farm is located more backward, so we can find that it has less agriculture intensity even, and so is the case with a particular farm which is located even beyond. I hope it is clear. So next application of this particular model is that it helps to determine the terms of trade. Now, how it helps to determine the terms of trade? That is, let's consider this example. How that terms of trade at international level, or even at the domestic level, they are a function of two things, and these two things are, first is geographical proximity, that is the aspect of distance. Second is the economic mass. Of a particular country. So at the international level, it can be helpful to determine the terms of trade. For example, this is a very beautiful example in which the overall trade of UK with India is mere 2%. Although the population of India is more than 1.3 billion. More than 1.3 billion. I hope it is clear. But the UK's trade with EU is more than 50%, and it is even higher for a country like Belgium with respect to 2% of India, which is having just a population base of just 11 million. I hope it is clear. What is the reason? Because here the distance is very, very large. This is an aspect of it. Okay. Of course, other things like what are the complementarities of export and import, the relationship between countries, those things do matter. But here the aspect of distance is more. Here the aspect of distance is less. And that is primarily one of the reasons that in the post-Brexit scenario, what these countries and economists are thinking, they are thinking that if UK want to replace EU as its trading partner post Brexit, it will be very difficult for UK to replace that, because the factor of distance as given by gravity model will play its role directly or indirectly. I hope it is clear. So we have seen 5 applications of gravity models, which was the question, that is discuss the application of gravity models, and we have given around 7-8 examples which are very, very technical and which are very, very useful for the exam. So this is how we will be writing this particular question. At the same time, towards the conclusion, what we will be doing is, towards the conclusion, we can say that the conclusion, we can write briefly about the limitations and the criticism. So we can say that it does not consider what, it only considers the quantitative aspects of distance and mass. ठीक है, there are no what qualitative aspects. Qualitative aspects क्या हो सकते हैं? That distance is relative. Distance is a function of mode of transportation. Mode of transportation. If you want to take an example of this mode of transportation, let's say there is New York and we have London. So the distance between New York and London is relative. How? Because we know if we are traveling from New York to London via flying, the distance will be different. If we are now sending, let's say, some information from New York towards London via what? Satellite, the distance will be even more, even less. So distance is relative, but here distance is only taken in the quantitative aspect, that is in kilometers. But it also depends upon modes of transportation, relative this one, and the new ICTs. I hope it is clear. At the same time, the distance has not, or the mass has not given the aspect of what we call as functionality. So the functionality of a place is also a determinative factor of how much it can attract and do the gravitational pull. So functionality of a particular country can be different. Functionality of developed world is altogether different. So these are the things. At the same time, you can write that with globalization, what we are seeing is, we are seeing the loosening of gravitational ties between the countries. जो gravitational equation में earlier the countries used to be, we are seeing a loosening of it or the weakening of it. But we can write the last line as that, however, gravity model still provides the realistic, or we can say the simplistic picture of the complex reality, and therefore it will be helpful for people and for the policymakers to do straightforward policy making. I hope it is clear. So this was the discussion. The content is very good. You don't have to study anything else for gravity models beyond this particular deliberation. I hope it is clear. I hope it is useful for us. So kindly like and share the video. Thank you.